Hi, guys. My name's Dan, and this is Dan with a Plan. This is a new kind of instrument I want to use to kind of get the word out on certain things. I think discuss important topics and hopefully talk about solutions going forward for our country. A brief thing: I'm an American. I'm a white male. I know it's damning, but most important thing is I'm going to speak and I'm going to be heard. Um, I think it's very important, especially this day and age, that free speech is not gutted. Everyone has their right to freedom of expression and to share ideas. However, in the marketplace of ideas, there should be fierce debate. Um, there should be critical thinking. There should be arguments. There should be fights, frankly. Um, this is all something we're very passionate about, where we live and the people we live with and how we live. A very important thing to, you know, work on. And that's what this does. That's what talking does. Um, and like the great man Charlie Kirk once said, when talking stops, violence begins, hate begins. And hopefully we can try to avoid most of that. I think violence is inevitable in some cases, but I think having a dialogue and being open minded about hearing what people have to say is crucial to developing our lives. It's crucial to developing plans, and hopefully this Dan has a plan, and we can put some of these things into motion. This channel will basically be going over important topics, opening the floor to debate in the comments, anything to really just have your voice heard. I think is the most substantial thing. The most important thing right now today is personally for me, catharsis. I'm having what one person might call catharsis, um, which basically means it's like a release. It's like an emotional after an intense kind of um, emotional event, or it's a realization. It's kind of like when you finish a long project and you see like the work you've done, or you see the change that happened because of something you put into motion, and it's a positive thing. It's kind of like a it's like a sigh of relief. And I'm kind of going through that now because, and I don't think it's just my algorithm. I genuinely feel a momentum um, of right wing ideals, of Christian values. I see a very optimistic outlook for this country. And the most important thing is I see what happened to some innocent people, Charlie Kirk, Arena, lots of other a lot of other situations, obviously to mention, but uh, normal people, people who have been on the sidelines for a very long time, are kind of waking up. I don't want to say woke because it's like, okay, like that term's used for everything, but no, there is kind of a political consciousness forming with people that just wanted to go about their daily lives. There's horrific things that have happened that I literally you can't ignore. You can't ignore them. Um, and it's that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And as horrifying as it is to watch a man get shot or a girl get stabbed, um, this pushes to the forefront of discussion some very important things. And it starts with a lot of different topics that I really do want to explore, but obviously I want to keep this concise. The most important aspect of all these elements coming together is that they stir something within an individual. Seeing those images, seeing the video, hearing about what happened is enough to make someone realize there's something going on here. And like, we have issues with mental illness. We have issues with radicalization. We have issues with people not being decent human beings. And look, there's a lot of different definitions for what a decent human being is. But when I say a decent human being, 90% of people know what I'm talking about. It's not a very difficult thing to grasp. And the cathartic thing I'm going through is, oh, wow, there's a lot of people aligned with what I believed and what I've thought. And it really only took them getting shook up about horrific things that have happened. Horrific things that have been in the works for a very long time. Things that I've personally warned against. Things that we've tried to prevent collectively on the right by upholding law, by telling people to, again, we don't assassinate other people. We don't just kill other people just because. There's laws. We have laws to uphold. Okay? And we especially do not kill because someone's an opponent. That is left for Lady Justice. That's left for where we can make a system that doesn't allow these people to walk our streets, that doesn't allow these people to get brainwashed to do horrific things. We are going to work, and that's my big plan, to create a system, a republic, a government that does not allow these things to even come to be. Of course, it's impossible to bring all this to a full stop, but it begins in your communities. It begins how you raise your kids. It begins how you interact with your friends. Uphold this or that with your friends. Say like, well, that's not cool. We really shouldn't see people in that light. We shouldn't vilify. We shouldn't attack people for people who really are not hurting anyone. And I'm talking about in the direct physical sense. Obviously, there's people on the left that clearly lead lifestyles that are hurting people in a very in a psychological sense, in a spiritual sense, and there's a lot of aspects. But they hurt people in a different way. That does not deserve immediate physical attack. They need to be attacked in the marketplace of ideas. And that's where we are. That's what X is. That's what Instagram. That's what social media. That's what the streets are for. That's what protests are for. And I see a lot of people, and I'm very excited about it, getting out there and not being afraid to speak their mind. Because the course is changing. We're on course. It's very clear we've shifted back to normalcy, back to this is what's acceptable. And it makes me so happy because 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I couldn't believe that would be a thing. Because what was being allowed to happen, the infiltration of institutions, the total lack of reaction to really, really horrible things happening. I mean, quick example, not going to go too far down the pipeline. Black Lives Matter protests. They trashed cities. And we allowed it because we think that was acceptable, apparently. Like, I forgot the exact expression, but our morality is determined by what we allow to happen. If you allow people to come into your house and kill your family and trash your house, like, no offense, there somewhere along the pipeline, it was either politically or with government or with laws or with self-defense. Somewhere along that line, you needed to consider protecting your family, you know? So it's like there's the direct consequence of not arming yourself, but there's also the indirect consequence of letting things get this bad. And I think people are arming themselves. I think people are arming themselves intellectually and physically. And that's a very promising thing. That's a good thing. This is founding fathers shit. This is, we will protect our rights. That's not up for debate. Criminals are criminals. Rights are rights. And that's it. And especially with the No Kings protests and how ineffectual it has become. I've recently watched some stuff about Antifa and how they're afraid to come out. They're afraid to come out, not only to show their faces, but masked up. And it's a little Orwellian. We have a lot of surveillance. They claim it's surveillance. But I know the real case is that they're fucking demoralized, which is huge win. People, Antifa is scared to come out. Antifa, known for trashing people's property, killing, murdering, harming people, protesters. Look, a protest can be left-wing and right-wingers show up, and the Antifa tries to antagonize and create a fight. Yeah, of course, it's going to result in violence. These people are not the kind of people we want protesting. We want the ineffectual 60-plus freaking boomer community going out with signs, with really horrible arguments on their side. For instance, a lot of people at No Kings didn't even know why they're there. They can't even tell you. They say, well, no kings. It's like, well, Donald Trump's not a king. Again, lots of things I want to discuss with everyone here, and lots of things I want to bring up, lots of things I want to journal and catalog. And this is what that is. Any left-wingers have a problem with that, come at me. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm not going to be like afraid of your cancel culture or whatever, because it's swinging the other way. Everything that was happening, that I dealt with, that I received bans for, that I was ousted, that I was tried to be shamed for, not going to happen anymore. I'm not going to let it happen. Charlie is that message to everyone. They do not respect your speech. They want you dead. They want your daughter dead. They want your dog dead. They want your whole bloodline gone, erased. They want you gone. And the battleground is here. You're on it. They don't care if you wanted to be there or not. You're a target. So act like it. Get engaged with your community, with your family, with your friends. And share this cathartic moment with me. This is a turning point. So many issues are now coming to light, and we need to act. And that's exactly what this is. Thank you for listening.